Добрый день всем. Коллеги, еще раз добрый день. Рады всех вас приветствовать на нашем первом семинаре по сейсмической инверсии и характеристике коллекторов с помощью Interval. Для начала я хотела бы представить нашего лектора. Это Тибо де Феминьо. Он будет вести сегодня основную лекцию, и также модератор Рома Бален, который будет отвечать на ваши вопросы, соответственно, в чате. И я, Ольга Емельяненко, представитель компании в России в BC Биотехнологии. В течение всего нашего митинга у нас будет отсутствовать звук, поэтому если у вас есть какие-либо вопросы, вы можете задавать их в панели справа, соответственно, вкладочка Questions. Сразу попрошу, если в основном писать вопросы по-английски, если уж совсем не сможет кто-то написать по-английски, пишите по-русски, и все вопросы, которые, если мы вдруг не успеем охватить или не успеем ответить, мы обязательно все направим, соответственно, вам в ответе в письме. Также у нас есть вкладочка Polls, панель, в которой я задам несколько вопросов касательно нашего семинара и очень попрошу вас на них ответить. Это, в принципе, не займет очень много времени. Также видео полностью со всем семинаром будет доступно на YouTube-канале, ссылку на который мы отправим вам после нашего вебинара. Если вдруг у вас останутся какие-либо вопросы или мы не успеем на что-то ответить, вы можете связаться с нами в любое время по телефону или почте, которые мы указывали при регистрации, и, соответственно, даже приехать к нам в офис в Москве, на Вавилова. Мы всегда с радостью вас будем рады видеть. Спасибо. Приступаем к лекции.
Thank you very much, Olga. Today's presentation is about the Interval software for seismic inversion and reservoir characterization. We'll be divided this webinar in two parts. First, presenting the model-based inversion in Interval, which is the basis of the software, and some applications in exploration and production context. Then we will have a short Q&A break. As the second part, we will discuss the advanced features of Interval, such as the geostatistical inversion, and we will also end with a Q&A break. The objective of seismic reservoir characterization is to interpret the seismic amplitudes in terms of reservoir properties and/or fluid contents. We want to answer several questions about the reservoir, to find the location of the reservoir, find properties such as porosities, and predict fluids or pressures. The seismic reservoir characterization is combining information from well data, seismic data, and geological data. Seismic inversion process is an essential step to characterize the reservoir properties from seismic data. With the Interval software, you have a wide range of applications that can have a strong impact on your exploration and development studies. First kind of application is used for seismic data enhancement for reducing noise and multiples. This will also allow you to have a good characterization of the fault network when you take into account a better quality of seismic. You can use the software for matrix property mapping and identifying some reservoir properties, and other types of workflows such as pore pressure prediction and an uncertainty analysis that can be performed using results of a stochastic inversion. There is a unique model-based inversion workflow that is the basis of all the different kinds of inversion that are implemented in the software. First step is performed for data QC and seismic data conditioning. Then a key step in the inversion process is the estimation of the wavelet. A wavelet estimated from seismic data and then calibrated with well data. The third step is the construction of a prior model. Then the inversion process, you will optimize the impedance distribution using the seismic volumes and prior model. And lastly, we will use the seismic inversion results for matrix and fracture characterization. This software is used by basic FranLab geophysicists daily for multidisciplinary projects. First, there are some tools in the software for QC and seismic data conditioning, such as signal analysis or fast track AVO. Then you have several possibilities for different kinds of inversion that are implemented in the software. And lastly, the reservoir characterization is using outputs of the seismic inversion for computing use or other types of applications. All these applications I'm going to detail in the following slides. On the left part of my slide, you can see all the input data. So you have seismic data, well data, horizon data. You can also have maps or table or point sets. And then you have all the results from the different modules of the workflow that are stored in this data tree. The menus are organized by different workflows. First, the menu for dealing with all the projects and input data, and then you have dedicated menus for the model-based inversion, then characterization for using the inversion outputs for extracting attributes, and then menus for dedicated inversion, such as the stochastic inversion or the 4D inversion. All inversion types are in the same study, and you can manage and visualize several surveys at the same time, and also 2D surveys. You can import seismic gathers and perform NMO correction on these gathers. And then you have a module for stacking the gathers into different angle range. The big advantage of this module is the possibility to have a preview of the angle stack computation. So this will help you to optimize the angle range while saving some disk space and computation time. You have a large panel of tools for QC on the seismic, such as signal analysis for extracting seismic bandpass and a noise-to-loss signal ratio, and also tools for controlling extracting attributes on maps from the seismic data, such as noise maps. When you are performing an elastic inversion, which means you are using several seismic cubes for different angle range, you may have some residual time shifts that may stay after the normal move-out correction. And these are these residual time shifts that we want to correct. So we have all seismic events perfectly aligned between the different angle stacks. Using a reference cube and a cube to align, you will calculate time shift between these two cubes with associated quality. You can perform a cutoff on the quality and apply the final time shift. So you have two cubes with perfectly aligned seismic events. The main advantage of using this kind of processing for the seismic data is to have an optimized result after the inversion process and better quality of model for impedance model after the inversion process. A preliminary tool before the inversion is the fast-track AVO analysis. So it's very fast assessment for computing intercept and gradient and associated error directly from seismic amplitudes. You see on the left the module in which you can select the different seismic cubes, and on the right you have an interactive display for computing the intercept and gradient and selecting the appropriate zone in the seismic data you want to analyze. Once you have performed all this QC and seismic data conditioning, a crucial step in the seismic inversion is the estimation of the wavelet. This wavelet will be used to compute synthetic seismic data at each iteration of the inversion process. First, the wavelet is extracted from the seismic, and then it's calibrated using well data, calibrated in terms of well tile, which is the first step, then calibrated in terms of phase, and then calibrated in terms of energy. For the first step, we extract the wavelet from the seismic data. In this step, we also have crucial information that can be used as parameters for the inversion, such as the noise-to-signal ratio for each angle stack, and also the seismic bandpass for each seismic cube. You can perform this type of analysis of signal analysis for each seismic data along a horizon. You want to calibrate the wavelet using the well data. So in the window you see on the left, you will select a zone of interest in your target area in which you're going to calibrate your wavelet. You can keep in mind is that this process is using all the wells at the same time, and it's the statistical process in which you are considering traces around each well, and we are looking at traces that will give you the best correlation between generated synthetic seismic and the observed seismic data. You will then obtain one wavelet per angle stack. An additional module is a multi-well and multi-cube calibration. The advantage of this module is that you can accommodate all angle stack at the same time for finding the most stable time shift. You will use this kind of module in order to optimize the prior model that you're going to use in the inversion. You optimize it by finding position of wells that give you the best correlation with the observed seismic data. Let's move on to the modeling step. In this modeling, you are using a structural model that is created between each horizon, given the depositional knowledge you have in your reservoir. and you're going to interpolate well data along these correlation lines. You also have the possibility to constrain this prior model with velocity data. There is an option in the software for using a model from external software. So you have lots of flexibility for choosing the kind of prior model you want to use in your seismic inversion process. Once you have this prior model and one wavelet per angle stack, you can perform an inversion process. The Bayesian formalism that is used in inversion is the same for all types of inversion implemented in the RWell software. You have different tools for monitoring the performance of the inversion, such as a monitoring tool where you see the decreasing of the cost function. You have different parameters that you can set for giving different weight to the different types of data used in your seismic inversion. And the types of outputs you obtain after the inversion are synthetic seismic data, reflection coefficients, residuals, and optimal models for impedance. This inversion process can be launched on a cluster and on a multiprocessor machine. For the seismic reservoir characterization, you're going to use the outputs of the seismic inversion in order to compute attributes and lithology. First, let's detail the lithology part. You can apply a discriminant analysis from one or several input variables that could be the results of the inversion, such as P impedance or S impedance, or combination of attributes, such as Poisson ratio. And you will compute volumes of lithology and associated probability of good assignment for each lithology. If we take a look on the top right, you see first a feasibility analysis to check if the discrimination is possible using well data or inversion results. And then you can parameterize your discriminant analysis, use a table of values that are linking the different attributes and the lithology, apply it to generate a volume, and you can also look at results in maps. Additional tools are available. For example, additional tool for processing the output results of the inversion is a trend modeling tool. So you're going to generate a map that's going to be constrained with observation for each well. So this map is going to honor well data and provide lateral variability on the constraint map using results from the inversion. So this model-based and multi-channel inversion is used to generate a synthetic seismic with reliable random noise attenuation, and you can see quality enhancement in the seismic data. You can see enhancement in the seismic bandwidth. On the slide is represented the quarterly map before and after inversion, where you see this improved seismic quality. This type of seismic data can be used for your interpretation, such as in your, for example, for fault identification on the synthetic seismic after the seismic inversion. So this is an example of the type of workflows you can use using enhanced seismic volume. If you consider exploration context, so this type of model-based inversion workflow can also be used for characterization in frontier basin. In this case, we have seismic data without any well data. So what we have done is we have constructed a prior model based on velocity data. We have applied a cutoff on Poisson ratio given our original knowledge, and you can see in the image zones of the distribution of Poisson ratio, and you can see that we have identified zones of low Poisson ratio corresponding to sand. This is represented in the map on the right of the slide, where you see the sand proportion that has been calculated from this attribute. The model-based inversion workflow can also be used in a context of characterization for a geological model. In this example, we have used pre-stack seismic data in order to guide a 3D rock type distribution. So on the left, you see that we have represented in a cross plot the well values for IP and IS ratio in axis, and in ordinates, we have represented the S impedance. We have, in this feasibility study, been able to discriminate the dolomite presence using these well log values. And we have also determined relationships that are lithology dependent for the porosity. So for each lithology, we have been able to identify relationship with the porosity. So we have been able to extract porosity maps and estimate the volume in place in our target area. Romain, do you have any question in the chat?
Коллеги, мы закончили первую часть нашей презентации. Если у вас есть какие-то вопросы, вы можете их задать в чате, соответственно. И, в принципе, все вопросы текущие вы можете тоже также в течение презентации публиковать.
Thibaut, if you want, you can go on, and if there is any question, please do not hesitate. We have another session for question let's say later.
Thank you very much, Romain. So let's move on with the advanced features inside Interwell. So we have features for interbed multiples modeling, which is used inside the model-based inversion for the post-stack elastic inversion. We have advanced features for using different types of seismic data for 4D inversion, azimuthal inversion, and multi-component inversion. And lastly, we will finish by detailing our geostatistical inversion that have been implemented in Interwell. And that is very useful in case of, for example, clean bed environment. The interbed multiple modeling implemented in Interwell allows you to remove multiples during the inversion process from the optimized P impedance. So if you check the impedance curve at the well, you may observe that you have some multiples that are contaminating the target area. And on the cross section, you see that by applying this process, by modeling these multiples during the inversion process, we have been able to provide more realistic impedance models. And this can help you to interpret, to have a better interpretation in the seismic data with these attenuated multiples. This workflow is quite unique for the Interwell software, and we have publications available that we can send you if you're interested. If you have available azimuthal seismic data, you can perform a dedicated workflow inside Interwell software. This workflow allows you to isolate the anisotropic contribution in your seismic data. So in this case, we have several sectors, several azimuthal sectors. We have 3 sectors in our inversion. We have the first workflow to capture the anisotropy in terms of intensity and orientation. So we perform sequential inversion extraction, sequential inversion on each azimuthal sector, and then we use a process for anisotropy quantification. This process is using ellipse fitting for all results of sequential inversion in order to identify the intensity and orientation of the anisotropy. A second workflow we use for these different azimuthal sectors is estimating the maximum and minimum impedance values per sector. So we use joint inversion with all azimuthal sectors at the same time. We compute a residual impedance, and we use this to assess relative values of the impedance that can help you in our interpretation of anisotropy. We have dedicated modules to quantify the anisotropy inside Interwell software. First, anisotropy quantification modules. So you see the results, the example of results we have in the softwares. We have results in terms of ellipse fitting error, results in terms of orientation. So you see you have some directly the orientation. You could also have errors associated with each point that gives you the orientation of the anisotropy. And you can have another key attribute, which regarding the ellipse ratio. These attributes are available in maps or in volumes. We also use Interwell for performing 4D inversion. So if you have time-lapse seismic data, you can perform a 4D inversion in order to extract crucial information about the evolution of your reservoir in terms of geomechanical parameters, or also the evolution of fluid content inside your reservoir. First, we perform a sequential inversion on each vintages. So we obtain volumes optimal volumes of P impedance, S impedance for each vintages, and for each vintages you have these volumes in their own time scale. The second step, which is called the physical warping, it's going to link time shifts and velocity changes between the different vintages. We're going to estimate a time scale transformation and compensate for the accumulated time shift due to the above reservoir underproduction. So this is what you observe on the right of the slide, which is the time scale transformation between the vintages. And this time scale transformation, we use it in our joint for the inversion. So this inversion process is using all vintages at the same time and the time scale transformation to express the optimal impedance volumes in the baseline time scale. This is what you observe on the right of the slides, results in terms of P impedance and S impedance. When we compute the difference between the P impedance and S impedance, you can use that for interpretation of 4D events in the reservoir. For analyzing the results of the 4D inversion, we have dedicated modules for 4D quantification. So you have two possibilities. You can extract results in volumes of maps, and all these results are stored in subfolders inside the interval study. An example on the right is an average map for quantification of 4D events. Lastly, another type of model-based inversion that we have implemented in Interwell. So it's the multi-component inversion that is using data from different domains of acquisition. We are using PP data, PS data, and SS data in a first sequential inversion and then a joint inversion. In order to express the different data from different wave domains in the same domain, we are using warping. We are going to compute registration laws that are derived, in this case, from the S impedance. And we're using these transformation laws in order to express each domain in the reference PP domain. So this algorithm is based on a semblance algorithm between the IS inverted cubes. This allows us to express the PS wave data in the PP wave domain and SS data in PP wave domain. We have then a joint inversion that is going to inverse all domains at the same time. All initial substacks are inverted at the same time using a global cost function, and we're going to produce results of optimal results of P impedance, S impedance, and density expressed in the PP time domain in 2A time. The key advantage for the multi-component inversion is a better estimation of elastic parameters. First, you have a much more robust estimation of the S impedance. In this example, you see that the converted waves that we have used in the joint inversion process allows us to better estimate the S impedance in this example where we had a gas effect that was dimming the amplitude of the S impedance. So we keep a high quality of the impedance. Another key features and key advantage for this type of inversion is the realistic estimation of the density, which is quite unique in the different types of model-based inversion. Regarding the software, we have dedicated subtree for computing the different steps of the multi-component inversion and a dedicated menu from which you can restore all the different steps and compute the different attributes and assess the different results from the different steps of the inversion. This type of inversion is very useful in terms of seismic characterization. So it has applications first for lithology discrimination. You have access to better estimate of elastic parameters and also to the density. By using the density, you can assess geometrical parameters and have a better understanding of the rock properties when you are performing a discriminant analysis using the density and the overelastic parameters. So in terms of geomechanical attributes, you have an example on the right of the slides in which we have computed geomechanical attributes using seismic data from all wave domain, from PP domain, from PS, and from SS domain. And we have a better estimation of the S impedance associated to a much more reliable Poisson ratio in this case. So the Poisson ratio is represented on the left image. And also we have a better estimation of the density, which can give us access to very useful mechanical properties such as the Young modulus. And this type of properties can also be linked to other attributes such as the brittleness of the rock.
Дорогие коллеги, не стесняйтесь, пишите вопросы, даже пускай они будут на русском. Спасибо.
Yeah. Thibaut, there is a question. There is a question here. Could you please summarize what are the main limitations of the Interwell?
So Interwell software is available on Windows and Linux. In terms of computation, you can run the inversion, you can dispatch the inversion either on multiprocessor machine or on a cluster. And we can help you to implement the software on the cluster if you have this type of material available in your company.
So in terms of OS, yes, as Thibaut said, this works in Windows 7, Windows 10, and this works also in Linux compatible Red Hat 6 and Red Hat 7.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that the two time-consuming and computer-consuming processes would be the gather and the inversion, and both these processes are multi-threaded in Interwell software. Is there any other question, Romain? Or
yes, there is another question. Olga, can you
yes.
please?
We have another question. What is the difference our algorithm with the HRS and JSON?
Well, yeah, actually, the idea of Interwell is more. We are focused more on a model-based inversion. Although Interwell also have a sparse spike inversion, which is called the full seismic inversion here.
And we have a very fast development process in our software. If you work with us, there are also possibilities to implement dedicated workflows for your company.
And as Thibaut said, for instance, for the gather conditioning and the creation of the angle stacks, for having used a bit Amundsen-Russell, one of the true really good point for Interwell is that we are using a link, a bit as Petrel do for seismic, for the SegWire directly, so that you don't need to copy your SegWire in a database, which can be very huge in terms of the space. And the processing is fast and applicable directly in the SegWire. So no duplication of the data and no duplication of the results as well, even for the NMO. So this is one good point for Interwell, for instance, as far as Amundsen-Russell.
Yes, that's correct.
Sorry, guys, the next questions I try to answer. На следующий вопрос, что касается, это отдельный какой-то продукт или это модуль к Темису? Нет, это отдельный продукт, который идет на платформе OpenFlow, соответственно, как отдельный, в принципе, вообще продукт, существующий для работы. То есть это никаким образом не дополнительный модуль к Темису. Thank you.
If you have any more questions, Thibaut, you can go on. There is one other session in the end.
Okay.
So let's finish with the geostatistical inversion that has been implemented inside Interwell. So why do we perform this type of inversion? Compared to the deterministic inversion, we are using well as hard data, and we are retrieving impedance distributions from wells, and possibility we can retrieve this type of impedance from rock physics models. Compared to the GeoModel, our simulations during the geostatistical inversion are controlled by an optimization process. we constrain this optimization by seismic data. You also have the option inside the interval software to constrain by deterministic inversion results. The result from the resulting simulation is beyond the seismic resolution. You have a non-unique solution, which is the particularity of the geostatistical inversion. When you consider several simulations or several inversion runs, you can assess uncertainty in the elastic model prediction. So generally what we do in our workflows is that we combine the deterministic inversion with results of the geostatistical inversion to assess uncertainty in our target area. The global stochastic inversion is based on the simulation of impedance models constrained by prior distribution. The main goal is to match with the seismic data, and you also have the option, like I explained, to match with deterministic inversion results. We have implemented this and developed this type of inversion with a partnership with the Lisbon University. We have been using this type of solution in consulting in BCID FranLab since 2016. And after a year of consulting using this type of solution, we have implemented in our commercial software Interwell since 2017. So what are the main advantages of this type of workflow inside Interwell? You can use this statistical inversion for post and pre-stack data. The algorithm is very fast. It's multi-threaded. You can launch it on a cluster. There is the variography and the distribution can be assigned for each reservoir unit. You have the possibility of constraining your inversion using a deterministic result as a trend. And also, you can import and use external distributions imposed by rock physics models or other type of well data that you may have in the software or imported in the software for constraining your inversion. So at each iteration, you have a set of P impedance models that are going to be generated by the geostatistical inversion. For each model, from each model of impedance, you will calculate a synthetic seismic and compare it in terms of correlation coefficient to the real seismic. Then at this step, there's a selection. So the acoustic impedance selected is the one that is maximizing the cost function. This is stored and used along with correlation coefficient as secondary variables for the next generation of a new set of models at the next iteration. We can say that the areas of high uncertainty are usually associated with a low signal-to-noise ratio seismic, so that may remain poorly matched for the entire iterative procedure. If we move on to the elastic stochastic inversion implemented in Interwell, so this is expanding on the process detailed in the previous slide for the stochastic inversion on the post-stack data. In this case, at each iteration, we have P impedance and S impedance that are simulated. You see here that the particularity is that the S impedance is generated using joint probabilities. We have then the prior distributions and best impedances from the previous iteration that are used as a secondary variable. What are the parameters that you can use in your geostatistical inversion? You have dedicated parameters available inside Interwell software. First, in terms of impedance distribution or co-distribution for the S impedance, you can use information from well logs inside the study or outside the study boundary, and also use the rock physics models. On the left, you see histograms. So first, in case you use only in the post-stack case, where you will be using distribution of P impedance. And then the second example is the cross plot, where you have S impedance and P impedance that you can, which distribution you can use as a constraint for your stochastic inversion. When you define a geological unit between each horizons, you can impose a distribution and co-distribution for P impedance. You can impose a different distribution for each unit. You have the possibility, so regarding the variograms that are controlling each unit, you will be able to constrain the lateral and vertical variabilities of each simulation. You can select the number of iterations, number of simulations that will give you the best convergence and the best match with the seismic data. You also have other types of parameters, other types of advanced parameters that you can change for tuning the results of your simulations after stochastic inversion. This is a true inversion process. During and after the inversion process, you have the possibility to control the progress of the inversion using the correlation function that is displayed at the bottom of the slide. So you see the increase and the correlation at each step, and at the final step, given the final number of iterations. What kind of outputs you obtain after the stochastic inversion? So you have the prior distributions per unit that were used for the stochastic inversion. You have the simulations for the last iteration, and then you have the possibility to compute statistics on the outputs of the simulation. Statistics in terms of average of impedance models, statistics in terms of range, or for example, calculation of quantiles. All these results are stored inside the study tree, which is displayed on the left. You can restore the simulation, and all results are accessible from there. These results first will give you access to uncertainty in your reservoir, in your target area. So generally we use a combination from deterministic inversion and the stochastic inversion in order to assess this type of uncertainties. Given the non-unicity of the stochastic inversion solution, you can have a very realistic quantification of the uncertainties. They can be used for highlight, for example, tuning effects, with highlight results in a seismic noisy area or fault plans in a fracture network. Also, the results from the stochastic inversion are very useful for the inversion characterization. You can apply a discriminant analysis on the results of your stochastic inversion. You see the example first on the left of characterization that has been applied on deterministic inversion results. And on the right, you see the discriminant analysis that have been applied on the stochastic inversion results. You see that you have much higher resolution in this type of results, and you have access to uncertainties on both the P and S impedances prediction. That concludes our last advanced feature for the Interval software. Let's have a break for the questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Thibaut. There is one question about the algorithm efficiency in the areas.
Коллеги, здесь был вопрос касательно, возможно ли предоставление ПО на опробование. Да, конечно, мы предоставляем наше программное обеспечение на опробование. Для этого вы можете связаться по нашему электронному ящику, соответственно, по нашей электронной почте. Мы вам расскажем о системных требованиях, соответственно, которые необходимы для того, чтобы установить программное обеспечение, и предоставим вам лицензию на опробование. Sorry. I talked about the, is it possible to provide the software for the testing?
Great. Okay. Concerning the tectonic complex area, it really depends on the feature you are thinking about. Concerning the faults, for instance, for normal faults, it works perfectly. The only thing you have to take into account the horizons with the faults, and the modeling can handle very well the normal faults. Concerning the inverse faults, for instance, you can use the modeling for the hanging wall and the foot wall and perform a merge. This is also possible. This can be seen. In case of very complex modeling, such as, for instance, salt tectonic context, you can also import a priori model for a modeling software. in Segway or step format, so that you will get an a priori model from outside the software to use an inversion on it. So this is also possible. Concerning the faults and fractures, this is a very good algorithm actually to reduce the noise, and it conserves the faults and the fracture impact on the seismic. There is one other question, Thibaut, about the reservoir thickness. Is the reservoir thickness a limitation for the work in this software?
I would say it depends on the seismic data you have. You might have physical limitations in terms of the resolutions that you can provide from your seismic data. The type of workflows we use when you have, for example, the thin bed, you could use geostatistical inversion in order to use the lateral variability of the wells and the good sampling at the well as hard data in order to provide optimal models from your inversion.
Yes, we also provide with the inversion results reflectivity, which is a form of deconvolution in that sense that we optimize the reflectivities during the inversion. So the reflectivity is often a bit with more resolution than the seismic itself. It can also help to delimitate and to interpret thinner contrasts in your seismic data. So this is also possible. And yes, as Thibaut said, the geostatistical inversion helps to go a bit beyond the resolution of the seismic data. And the idea is that it is better controlled this way than directly in the geological model, because it is compared to the seismic data and upscaled thanks to the wavelength, so that we provide a model, let's say, that it is compatible with the seismic. There is also one question here. Is this any example of using Interwell in combination with another OpenFlow Suite project? So from the consulting part, I'd say that yes, it is very often, especially in combination with ThemisFlow, in combination with Dionysos Flow, because they are both geocellular models with different concepts, and we can extract from the seismic data and the characterization task, for instance, the distribution of sand bodies and so on, to confirm or to calibrate at a very fine scale a Themis model or Dionysos model. And actually, there is one public atlas we did for Canada offshore, in which we calibrated the Dionysos model thanks to a 3D characterization of a sand body. We can share the link if it is also already available, if it is still available.
Any other question, Norman?
No, there is no more question here, so.
Thank you very much for your attention. Maybe Olga could give a
Oh, sorry, we have another questions.
Yes.
Okay, could you please talk to us, all is your show, this is for only 3D?
No.
So,
I think, is it possible to use this model for 2D or maybe 1D?
yes, it's possible. You have a possibility to import 2D lines and project wells on the 2D lines. So this is the type of workflow we also perform, and our clients also perform using the software, using 2D lines.
Окей. Коллеги, спасибо вам большое за ваше внимание, за присутствие на нашем вебинаре. Если у вас все-таки остались какие-то вопросы, прошу вас направить на нашу почту info.moscow@bsip.com. Мы на них ответим в ближайшее время. Также вам всем в ближайшее время на наш вебинар на канале в YouTube. И если вдруг, может быть, кто-то хочет обсудить что-то или, не знаю, там попробовать взять программное обеспечение на опробование, также пишите, звоните, будем рады с вами все эти вопросы обсудить. На опробование программное обеспечение мы даем, соответственно, да, на бесплатной основе.